Hello, it's Kylie Batucci, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia here with you. Thank you so much for joining me today for this amazing Stamparatus blog hop that Stampin' Up! Have put on. I feel so privileged and honoured that they have asked me to be part of this today. And I'm sure you're going to get so many tips and ideas from all these demonstrators around the world. And they have lots and lots of brilliant amazing ideas that are going to inspire you and help you to see how to get the most out of your new Stamparatus tool. If you don't have it yet, make sure it's on your shopping list, 1st of June. And if you live in Australia, I would love to help you with your purchase and with lots of ideas and inspiration too, of course. So this is the card that we'll be making together today. Ta-da! And I will be highlighting this particular situation here with the sentiment. So using our Stampin Write markers with the Stamparatus is a really great way to get some amazing effects out of your Stamparatus tool. So we're going to jump on in very quickly and I'm going to show you how to make this amazing card today. Okay, so let's get to making this beautiful card here. This is my colour palette that I'm using, the Emerald Envy, which sadly will be going before the new annual catalogue because it's one of our in colours that is retiring. But we've got Lemon Lime Twist and Powder Pink that are staying, so these colours will be around. However, if you wanted to swap out the Emerald Envy once the new catalogue starts, you could go for the new Call Me Clover, which is a new in colour in the new stamp pad styles, which are fantastic. So that's another alternative. They are slightly different, but definitely will get a great effect. And then we won't mourn Emerald Envy as much. But they're my colour palette that I used today. I also used this stamp set here, which is going to be carrying over in the new annual catalogue. It's the All Things Thanks stamp set, which I've used this sentiment here. And I'm going to show you how I used this amazing technique using the Stamparatus, which will be exciting. And also I've used the Oh So Eclectic stamp set, which again is going to be carried over in our annual catalogue. Yay! I really like this one. So I'm very excited about that continuing, and I'm glad that I can show you how to use it as a background image. I did not use the Stamparatus for the background, however that is something you can do. But today I'm focusing on this sentiment here and how I got this 3 different colours, and surprisingly how my wonderful Stampin' Write markers can really be used well with the Stamparatus. So I want to show you that. So let's get started. I'll move these ink colours out of the way and we'll bring in my pre-cut cardstock. I use metric measurements here in Australia, so you can cut your cardstock in half, whatever your size is, whether it's letter or A4. Cut that in half, either lengthways or widthways, whatever suits you. Then we have a piece of Whisper White, and that's just a little bit less than half. So you can cut that to size. If you metric measurements, you can see on your grid paper here, I'm using it for the measurements. So it's about 4.5 or almost 5 centimetres for that little piece there. And this one is 5.5 centimetres for this size. And then we've got one here that is 2.5 centimetres, this bit here. So you could actually looking at this, that is way too small. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit more because this actually should be 5 centimetres, this one. So we'll bring in the Stampin' Trimmer. Keeping it real here. I'm not sure why I cut it at 5.5, but we'll see how that goes and see if we've got enough of our image showing, because we want to cover it, but we do want to see a little bit of it too. Don't want to cover it all up. Yep, that's looking good. And when we compare it with this one here, yep, that looks about right. So I'm happy with that. So 5 centimetres and 2.5 centimetres is that other one. So let's come in here and do some stamping and some sponging. I actually did some sponging on these edges as well, which is a lot of fun. So we'll come in and do a little bit of sponging first, won't we? Using the Powder Pink, open that up. And Powder Pink is pretty good because it's a light colour, so you don't have to get too worried about having too much ink on your dauber. Some of the stronger colours, you probably would want to sort of push it off a little bit. sponge all the edges. And for me, this just creates like a little bit of depth. That's what I love about using the sponging, particularly when there's so much sort of empty space. There's not a lot of stamping on the actual card itself. And so using the sponging just gives it a bit of texture, bit of interest. If you wanted to, you could even stamp on there. It's really up to you how busy you like your cards. But because that main strip is quite full on, I decided to just complement it with some little bit of white space, inverted commas, white space, some pink space. So we've sponged that up. That's looking good. And the best thing about something like this, if you're not happy, you just turn it over and do the other side if you don't like it. So we've done our sponging. Now we'll do our stamping. We all do love stamping. So I've got the Emerald Envy for the leaves. And I've got the beautiful Lemon Lime Twist. In the new catalogue, these colours, they've actually got a designer series paper called Tropical Escape. And it's a 6x6 inch paper. But what's interesting is they have actually used the Blushing Bride, Granny Apple green, and the Shaded Spruce. The Shaded Spruce is actually quite a bit darker. I've got some samples here. So this is the Shaded Spruce. This one is the Emerald Envy that we have at the moment that's about to retire. And this is Call Me Clover. So you can see that the Emerald Envy has sort of got like a little bit of a blue to it. But I'm really loving this Call Me Clover. It's a real green, and I really enjoy that green. I like it. And the Shaded Spruce is quite a lot darker, but not quite the same as Tranquil Tide. So it's quite a good green for them to add to the collection. But that's a few options, doing the Call Me Clover or the Shaded Spruce. And then instead of the Lemon Lime Twist, doing the Granny Apple green is another option. So yeah, these colours are inspired by the brand new annual catalogue, which is very exciting. So I'm looking forward to that catalogue so much. Can't wait for it to come. So we'll stamp on here. So remember that the Stamparatus will be available for order on the 1st of June. I know that there's some of my customers that missed out on the pre-order, and they're like, how do I get it? I want to get my hands on it now. And I'm like, I told you to pre-order. You shouldn't have waited. So if some of you are in the same position, just make sure the 1st of June is on your shopping list, not wish list, shopping list. It's a definite. So put it on there. I know that 1st of June is going to be like a big celebration around here in our place. We'll definitely be having a very busy day, lots of exciting things happening for our customers. And so I just come in between, just looking at where things are placed, and just sort of come in between these gaps here. And then I'm going to have the little bit of an extra element with the powder pink. Oh, look at that already. And even if you wanted to, you could leave it like that. It looks so beautiful. And then we've got a few options with this stamp set. So I was actually looking at these ones here, like the little dots. They're sort of like little, they look to me like little paw prints. But yeah, there's a few different options of what you could use if you don't want to use the little pluses. But I really like the funky look of that one. So I'm going to stick with that one. And then come in with, and that can just layer on top. That's the best bit about having this image. So that's all I did for the background. And of course you could change up the colours. Completely different look it will give it. There's so many beautiful colour combos. You just think of 3 colours that you want to put together and you've got yourself an entirely different looking card. So we're going to stick that down. And then these ones here I'm going to layer with dimensionals, because they'll look awesome done like that. So we'll get our Tombow glue. I've got my dimensionals ready. And we'll stick that down. And then I'll show you how to use your Stamparatus with this amazing. So the best thing about this Tombow glue, I can just sort of check that that's okay. Yeah, that looks great. Because it has a little bit of give to it, which is nice. So we'll move those out of the way, and now we'll do some dimensionals on this. I love hearing about people crafting along with me. I got the most beautiful message from Erica Serwin saying that she watches my videos, which was like, oh my goodness, Erica Serwin watches my videos while she's crafting and she finds my voice calming. I'm like, are you sure about that, Erica? But it was so sweet of her to message. I think it's so nice when we can all message one another and let us know. Like I messaged one of the artisan girls and just said, oh my goodness, your project was so incredible with the watermelons, using the rainbows watermelons. Did everyone see that? It's like, message them and let them know what you're thinking. It's so special when you get one of those messages. You're like, oh, super cute. Someone's thinking of me. So we'll put that down there. So you want to get it as close to the edge as you can. Yeah, I find my Aussie accent, everyone's like, oh, we love your Aussie accent. Everyone loves the Aussie accents except for the Aussies. We're all like, really? Do you like our accent? Are you sure about that? We all love the English accent because it's so proper. And we sound so uncouth. Even the American accent is so cool. There's some of them, I love it when I hear y'all. Like Brian King, he does y'all, how y'all going? It's very cool. There we go. Is that how many dimensionals you use? We should say, how many dimensionals do you use? We use a lot of dimensionals in this house because Bruno is an architect, as most of you know. So foundations are very important in his work. Without a proper foundation, the building will fall. So I think he applies the same principles to our dimensionals. We don't want sagging parts of our cardstock here. We want it to all be a nice foundation. Therefore, lots of dimensional usage, which is fine. I give us permission to use as many dimensionals as we like. He started apologizing and I'm like, don't apologize. Use as many as you like. We'll just buy more. We will earn our trips, these incentive holidays, based on our dimensional usage. That's always a good thing. So now I'm coming in with the Stamparatus. So what can I tell you about this tool? First of all, it has two amazing plastic doors here. I'm going to have really specific and technical terms for you. I'll say plates. Sorry, I should say plates. I'll think of the words as I'm going along. But because we're only using one today, like it's very good having the two arms if you're doing sort of like 3D stamping or stamping on top, maybe multiple projects. It's really, really handy. And you can even flip these. So they come off the hinge and then you flip it. So don't freak out when it comes off and you're like, oh my goodness, did I break it? No, you didn't break it. They come off, which is brilliant. That is actually one of the main things about the Stamparatus that we all love. Now, you can take this off when you're using rubber. This is good for photopolymer. Some people really wish that this mat had grid paper. You can stick this grid paper on here. I've seen people do that. I've also seen some really great ideas using templates. So pre-cutting a section out of the cardstock so that you know exactly where you're stamping. So there's lots of different ways, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot from this blog hop today on how you can use the Stamparatus. Today I am going to be using this just for the sentiment. So I will show you, I've just used a normal sized piece of cardstock. One thing that you want to make sure of, and one of my customers sent Bruno a card that we absolutely adored, but if you stamp it up this, like if you stick it onto your Stamparatus this way, it will be upside down. So she sent us the most adorable card with her sentiment upside down, but everything else the other way around. She said, I thought you'd get a good laugh out of this. So it just takes a little bit of practice. I always find putting it down as if I'm about to stamp it normally is always a good thing, because then you can see where it's going to go as well. When it's polymer, it's brilliant being able to do that. But yes, this is a great alternative, and it doesn't really matter where the placement is at the moment for this because we're going to be cutting it out. So I know I'm using the Stampin' Snips. I am cutting by hand. I am fussy cutting. And do you want to know something even more interesting? I actually really love fussy cutting. Yes, I find it therapeutic. I know not a lot of people do, but I love it. I really enjoy cutting. That's my thing. Everyone's got their thing. Now, there's also magnets that come with the Stamparatus. Just be really careful. These magnets are super, super, like, what could you say, powerful, really magnetic. So be careful putting them together. Some people wrap it in washi tape and it does help because I've heard of them snapping. So usually most of the time, because they are so heavy duty, I actually only use one at a time personally. And I found that fine. But some people might want to use two, but just be really careful putting them near each other because they're like, and then they smash one another. So be very careful of that. And Jessie's advice is to not put it near your mobile phone because it's so strong it might wipe your phone. That's what she keeps saying to me. She's like, be careful, it might wipe your phone, Kylie. Like, whatever, Jessie. I don't think that's true. But that's what Jessie keeps saying. So this is our layering here. Now, the interesting thing that I found when I was doing this card is using the powder pink and the lemon lime twist, it gets a little bit funny if they overlap one another. So the beauty about using the Stamparatus, and this is the one thing that I thought was really interesting to show you today, is I'm going to come in and use my markers and just do the top section. But what I'm going to do after that will surprise you. So, and this is literally, I think only having the Stamparatus could allow you to do this effect so quickly and so easily. So I'm going to stamp that, and the best thing is you just push it down, push the lid, what did I call it before, the platform, the plate. Now, what can tend to happen with the Stamparatus, and I think a lot of people found this difficult with the markers, and this is what I wanted to show you, is that sometimes the image isn't very clear. So the exciting thing about using the Stamparatus is that you can come back and do another stamp without having to move anything. So I just come in and do it again. And just be careful. I notice I've got a little bit of a mark here from the edge. Just be careful that you don't sort of ink your edge. Wipe that off, but it's okay because I'll be cutting around it anyway. But just be careful of that. Now I can come in again and give that a really clean, crisp image. And that's a beautiful thing about having the option to go again. Now, the interesting thing I find, and Stampin' Up are going to have different tools for us for wiping and cleaning and things like that, but I do love using my baby wipes on my Stamparatus just to clean off any excess ink. And you could even leave it there so that you can see, you know, gauge where you had lined up, but I can sort of tell where we're at. So then I come into the next layer with my Call Me Clover. I was actually meant to use the other one, but we'll test this out and see how it looks. If I don't like it, we can start again. Because it's actually really good with the using the not Call Me Clover, but the Emerald Envy last, because it's not as strong. But anyway, we'll see what happens here. This could be a new look. Ooh, I actually like that. And then we come in with the last one. So I'm not going to wipe it down because then I can see where it is, where I've stamped. But I'm not sort of overlaying then. I'm protecting my markers. Do I need a little bit on the thanks? Yes, I do. So this is the amazing thing. Can you see how useful this tool is? Being able to just colour in different parts of your stamp and come back in. I'm not doing necessarily words like I would normally do with the inks. And see how I can see here, oh, okay, I've missed a little bit at the T, so I can come in with that. Where else? At the bottom of the Y there. I'll just do a once over again. It's not going to hurt it. And where else? Bottom of the thank you and the yes. Yeah, so that looks really good. I think that should work well. And it's okay if it's going to like blend over the top of each other too, but I actually really like this combo this way around. Oh, look at that. So you can see that I've got this effect, this gradual effect, and I've used my markers, which I really love using with my Stamparatus because I have a lot more freedom of movement. Also, the Stampin' spots are really good with this. If you can purchase some of the uninked spots, that's a hard one to say, then it's really good for stamping. So I have a lot of my spots that I've collected from previous catalogs, like the Occasions catalogs has some, and they're brilliant because they're a nice, easy way to ink up using the Stamparatus. So definitely get some of those uninked spots and get some colours happening. So we're going to pull this off. There's a little space underneath here of the Stamparatus. I'll just pull that off so I don't get ink everywhere, knowing me. So there's two little spots here where the magnets sit. So you can see here the two spots. So it's a brilliant, brilliant tool. I've only just showed you one way of using it, but there's a lot of different ways. So I usually keep one stacked and in place on the hinge, and then the other one I just layer on top like that, and then that's how I put it away. You can just wipe it with baby wipes, or the Stampin' Mist as well is brilliant, and you can just put that on top, bit of tissue or whatever you need to do, and that'll clean it up really nicely. And if you're naughty like me, make sure that you always put your black mat back in. Bruno's always like, where's the mat? Where did you put it? So keep it all together. So you all know I love snipping, but I know a lot of you find it very tedious. So I'll work some magic. I'll do some Bruno magic. Ta-da! How easy was that cutting out? So all I did was just sort of go around the outside. Nothing too fancy, just very simple. Didn't use a Thinlet or anything like that, but just cut it out by hand using snips. I know, amazing. And then I came in here and again used some dimensionals. I actually really like it this way round. I love it when those accidents happen. It's like, oh, whoops, I'm doing it differently. So I'll use some dimensionals on here because we love a bit of dimension. I think it makes these handmade cards really special. Do you think I could do one more? All of you are like, no, too many dimensionals. I told you, it's how I earn the trips. Just use as many dimensionals as we can. Okay, and then this, I sort of did it off center because I liked it sort of coming up like cursive writing, because like that it just felt, oh, even that's pretty nice actually, because it has its own sort of slanting. So let's just put it there like so. And of course we have to do the inside. It's not over yet, because you know how much I love to decorate inside as well. So I have a piece of cardstock. Hopefully I didn't use the one that I needed. Let's measure. Yes. So I do it 10 centimeters by 14.4 is my insert. And I'll do the same colors in a similar style. I've got Emerald Envy, Powder Pink, and the Lemon Lime Twist. And of course you could have done this while you were stamping the other one, but you know, I like the element of surprise. Surprise! We're doing the inside. We're not finished yet. Up in the corner. Then we need our leaf here. And then we've got the beautiful little pluses. And that is the inside. But wait, there's more. Let's do the envelope. We'll glue that down in a moment. Here is a beautiful envelope that I've stamped myself. I have to get the knack of the new stamp set. I haven't worked that out yet, but I'm looking forward to using that. We'll do a little bit here in the corner. And then we'll do the leaves. Beautiful. And of course, the lemon lime twist flower. Be careful, fingers. I can see a bit of ink here. It's all right. I'll put a pretend flower that was meant to be there to cover it up. Didn't you love doing that? It's like, oh yeah, it totally was meant to be there. So that is our little inked envelope. Pretty. And we'll glue the insert here so that you can see this all completed as well. But first I'll pack these up. I am such a messy crafter. I have heard I'm not alone, but I am attempting to be a little bit neater. Because I really don't like it when I get like ink all over my work that shouldn't be there, and you know, the problems in life when you're messy. Neat people don't have these issues because they put things away. And then they wonder why us messy people don't just do the same so that our life is easier. Look how beautiful that is. Thank you for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed making my card with me and you learnt some new techniques with the Stamparatus. I am very excited about this new tool, and I'm very excited to see how our Stampin Write markers go so well with it as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for joining the blog hop today as well. And I'm sure you'll get lots of tips, lots of ideas, and please message me, contact me, let me know what you're thinking. If you live in Australia, I'd love to help you with this amazing tool, and put it on your shopping list for June 1st because it is coming. Don't miss out this time. Thanks everyone. See you later. Bye.